One of the most painful things about going through anxiety, apart from the symptoms like panic attacks or DPDR or emotional numbness, is that sense that you've lost yourself completely. You're not the person that you used to be. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about whether or not your core identity comes back and what that actually means. What I mean by losing your core identity is getting disconnected from that sense of self. So it could be your personality or the way that you feel or your dislikes or just that sense of who you are and what you like and what you believe in. And a common fear I hear all the time from people is, will I ever feel like myself again? So what's actually going on here? So when you're going through anxiety and anxiety recovery, your nervous system is in survival mode. And what that means is there's sort of an emotional blunting that it has, which is only natural because you're only sort of thinking of the bad emotions. So a lot of the good ones get blunted. And there's also this sense of detachment. And this sort of creates a sense of identity confusion because you've never really felt like this before. This isn't going to cause any permanent damage. And your sense of self is still there. But right now it's buried under layers of fear and layers of survival responses. I felt this too when I was going through anxiety. I absolutely hated the fact that I just couldn't rely on myself anymore. I wasn't confident with myself, and I did start to question the big things like, what am I even doing with my life? Where am I going, and am I going to be able to be happy again? Am I going to be able to have that life that I dreamed? And now that I can sort of reflect back on it, I can see that all those what if and am I going to and all those types of questions, they're hyper anxious questions. They're hyper survival questions. And if you look at yourself right now and consider some of the questions that you're asking yourself, they're probably the same. Recovery brings reconnection back. And as you recover, that sense of safety, that sense of emotional safety, it starts to return, and then your sense of self, it starts to resurface. And what's really interesting here, and I see this all the time with the people that I help, is that as they go through that process and get towards the end, they say, I feel more like me than I ever have before. So it's not really, just getting back to baseline. You're getting back to even feeling more connected with yourself. And so once you've recovered from anxiety, you're not going to go back to exactly the same person that you were before. And that's actually a good thing. You're going to go to a stronger version of yourself, a more resilient version, and a person who understands themselves a lot better. So you're still going to have the same likes and dislikes, and you're still going to sort of have the same personality and character that you did before, but there might just be little bits added. For example, you might not get as angry as easy as you used to, or you might not worry about stuff as much as you used to, or it might take a lot to really upset you. Everybody who goes through recovery experiences this. There's not a single person I've helped who hasn't gone through this. So yes, your core identity and your sense of self does come back. And if you want to dive into this a bit deeper to know more about how to recover from anxiety, then check out the Freedom course. It gives you everything you need to know, all the tools and skills to be able to recover completely and fully and permanently. The link for that's in the description and the pinned comment. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.